Hey, it's me, MLB. Here's chapter 89 of Rapid Fate Online, or it rhymes. And this one's titled, Ha! Butterfly. Oh no, I've been caught talking to my boyfriend, you replied cheekily with an eye roll as she grabbed your arm and dragged you away. Bye, boyfriend, you sung back to Tamaki as you were whisked away. So, what are we going to do tonight? You asked your bestie as she linked her arm with yours and marched you to the front gates of the school grounds. Eat ourselves stupid, she replied with a grin. I can roll with that, you replied with an equally devious grin. Tamaki walked home on his own, mulling over what to do in-game and how to work his way up to someone who was higher up and eventually figure out who was at the top of all this mess, but he just didn't know how it was all going to work out. Getting home, he got some food and then went to his room and ate before lying down and putting his headset on. Link start, he said gently into the speakers. Immediately he was transported into the game and woke beside you on the bed at Master's house. Softly slipping out from under your arm, he got up and walked to the door, then exited and headed down the hall. He could hear the soft tapping of someone writing a message on the in-game chat and waited just out of sight before slowly looking around the corner. There was Master, sending a message to someone, but Tamajiki was too far away that he couldn't see who it was. Before he could pull back though, Master looked over his shoulder and smirked. I see you're awake, he said, standing up. Where's the girl? She has study to do, Tamajiki said shortly. She's not in-game. Well, looks like you'll be moving the shipment on your own then, he said with a sneer. Use all that energy to get these guns to their destination. I'm assuming that he was asked to move them today, then, in the chat, Tamajiki thought, nodding slightly. Come, Master said, jerking his head to the back door of the house. Tamajiki followed as he led the way outside to a shed at the back that was laden with guns. How am I supposed to move all of these? Tamajiki asked. That's for you to work out, slave, Master said with a sneer, placing his hands on his hips. Tamajiki looked at all the guns and checked his inventory storage, and then did a quick calculation and realised that most of them weren't going to fit in storage, so he would have to carry some in plain sight. Oh, so that's what he meant by if you get caught, it's on you, he thought as he scowled slightly. Well, hurry up, Master said sharply, raising his hand as if he were going to strike Tamajiki, but thought better of it when the supposed level 1 player looked back at him from the corner of his eye and narrowed it threateningly. Understandably, Master didn't want a repeat of what happened before, so he opted not to provoke his slave, but his blood boiled at the thought of not being able to properly control his item, Tamajiki. We leave in 1 hour, he said, stepping back to make sure that there was enough distance between Tamajiki and himself before turning and leaving the shed. Tamajiki looked around at the guns and started to load the larger ones in his inventory first before slowly working his way down the table until a small warning sign popped up. Inventory at capacity. Tamajiki let out a little huff of disappointment as he looked at the other guns, still not loaded, out of sight and safe in his inventory. I'll need to get some kind of wagon or bag. It was close to the 1 hour time mark that Master came back to check on how Tamajiki was going and found him packed and ready to move out. Ah, I see you've chosen saddle-type bags, he said with a smirk, looking at the 2 bags hanging either side of Tamajiki's shoulders. It suits you. Tamajiki narrowed his eyes again, but didn't say anything else and just followed Master back to the house and then out the front door. They set off at a quick pace towards the next level, and Tamajiki was having a little trouble keeping up, much to Master's delight. This sick bastard had some kind of ego and liked to feel like he had the power over someone else's comfort. Keep up, slave, he called back over his shoulder as he marched ahead. Up to the next level they walked, with Tamajiki keeping an eye out for anyone who might try and steal the guns, but there were very few people around, so it made it easier to keep tabs on everyone. As they got to the boss of the next level, Master pulled out a high-level item, an null bomb, and threw it at the boss, defeating it instantly in one go, and then smirked back at Tamajiki carrying the items. Tamajiki knew the item well, and he also knew that it had to have been given to Master, as he didn't think the pompous owner was a high enough level to have been able to grind for it himself. He cocked his head curiously. If he has been given an item like that, then he must be working for people with a higher level of experience. This is my chance to mingle with them and try and get a new owner. How do you like that, slave? Master jeered with his chest puffed out. Where did you get that item? Tamajiki asked, being careful not to name it so that it wouldn't give him away. I fought for it myself, of course, Master lied. Tamajiki wrinkled his nose. On which level? He asked. A higher level than you'll ever get to, Master taunted. More so than Butterfly? Tamajiki asked. Ha! I could defeat that guy instantly, Master said with a loud, proud laugh as he walked along ahead of Tamajiki. I see, Tamajiki replied blandly. They continued on until the track started to narrow a little. You head into the bush now, and don't get caught. I'll be waiting on the other side, Master said before moving on swiftly ahead. There must be a checkpoint ahead, Tamajiki thought as he moved into the bushland. He waited for a little to listen to his surroundings before moving again and turned to go up the hill. The deeper he walked into the bush, the more aware he became of the silence, and he paused. There's no bird sound. And that's the end of chapter 89. Stay tuned for chapter 90 coming tomorrow.